Alright guys, I want to show you how I'm creating my flashcards of my TEKS. So what I first do, of course, I Googled 2017 Cosmetology TEKS, as you see here. Okay. I went ahead and searched for that, and the first option that I got, I clicked on it. Okay. CTE, TEKS Essential Knowledge and Skills for 2017-18. I'm going to scroll down, and when I get to Human Science Services, which is subchapter J, I'm going to click on that. And here are all my TEKS for this cluster. So I know I'm looking for Principles of Cosmetology. Color, let's see, I think it's page 21. So I should be, here we go. Okay, design and color theory. Okay, so I am going to be working off of this, so I have my window open. I'm going to go ahead and open up a PowerPoint. Now for my PowerPoint, I want it to be a standard size. Now your size you can always change. You're going to click on design, slide size, and then standard. I'm going to go ahead and click on that and delete, and I'm going to insert a shape. I want a square. I want the outline to be black, and I want the fill to be white, and I want a somewhat of a weight on, so I'm going to do a 1-point weight on my outline. Alright, so here I'm just going to position this in the upper left hand corner. I'm going to go back over to my TEKS, and I am going to highlight the name of my course. So copy that, insert, text box. There it goes. And I'm going to paste this here. I'm going to move my little box to the top, and I'm going to size it up with my little, there we go. Alright, so Principles of Cosmetology, I'm going to enter that, and Design and Color Theory. I'm going to go ahead and go to Home and go put that in the middle. Okay. Now this first set of cards that I'm going to make, I want them, and in the previous video you guys have seen, we've talked about what all of these, what the A means, just general requirements. B is the introduction of the course and what you will be teaching, or what you're expected, you and the students are expected to be doing. And C is the actual units per se, or things that you will be teaching the students. The knowledge, what they need to know, and the skill, what they need to know how to do for your entire course. So number 1 is what the student is going to do, right? So that is your unit. Okay, for this particular one is business and industry, and then your letters is per se could be your lesson or your week's lesson. So here we have A through J. So I'm going to go ahead and come in and highlight the number, business and industry. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to enter it all the way to the bottom. So then I'm going to insert, I'm going to paste that there. I actually, what size font is this? 18. I need to make this smaller. So what if we make this a 10? Because I don't need that big. So that's font size 10. I'm going to put my space there, backspace there, so my text box is good. So this is my section, so I'm going to enter this. I don't need the 2. And I'm going to come in. And then what I want to do, I want to go back to my TEKS, and then I want to bring A in. Copy, paste. Alright. Punctuation and such you can get rid of or leave, or it just depends on how picky and particular you are. So I'm gonna delete this to bring my text box up for me. Alright, so this is my section here, right? So this is the class I'm teaching. This is the per se unit that I'm on. Business and industry is really what I'm looking for. I'm going to underline and bold business and industry. Okay, and we're going to, alright, so this is my TEKS card. Okay, so this is the class that I'm teaching, Principles of Cosmetology, Design, and Color Theory. The number 1, or the number, is per se the unit that I'm on, okay? I am going to be teaching business and industry. Let's say that I'm going to teach this business and industry the first 6 weeks of school, okay? So let's say this first week is orientation. Let's say the second week of school, I am going to focus on letter A, okay? I'm going to make sure the student is able to demonstrate professionalism and how to dress appropriately, speak politely, and conduct oneself in a manner appropriate for the profession and work site. So that whole week, this is what I'm going to do, okay? So I'm going to cut this little card out, and I'm going to put a little section in my binder or on my lesson plan book. This is the TEKS that I am working on. Okay, this is just the same thing as there's a video on here that shows how I print my TEKS out for the board, for my student expectation board. It's the same thing. This is, some would say double work, but this is like something that is smaller and that I was able to put in my binder with my lesson. So that way when I'm flipping through and thumbing through lessons, I have this in the lesson, because the other one is bigger and bigger size paper and an actual binder. So this will help me a lot when I'm doing my lesson planning. Alright, oops. I get that back on there. Alright, so here is my first little index card, I guess you can call it. Now I'm going to make 4 more. So here's the thing. Before, I did not know that all of this, you don't have to do this entire thing over and over. I'm going to highlight my text box and hold down Control. I'm going to highlight my actual box. So I'm going to right click and click on Group, and it's going to actually become 1. Before that, if I move my box around, my words didn't come. Or if I move my text box, my box didn't come. Okay? But now with this one, let me get that back centered there. There we go. So now I'm going to come in, click on my box, click on my text, group it, and so now it's 1. You just have to make sure to copy, where you click it is, it's important to make sure you click both. So copy, paste, and let's see if it did it. Yep. So then I'm going to paste another, and paste another. Okay. So I'm going to click on that, all 4 squares, right click, let's see if it grabbed it. I don't think it grabbed it. Click off. Right click and group. So now this entire 4 quadrants piece is it is actually a whole piece. Alright, so I'm going to bring this up to here and bring this down, this over, and this over. Alright, so and you might not want it all the way to the margin, but whenever you are cutting it, just keep in mind that if you leave space in between when you cut it, just your measurements may be off, so you just want to make sure to keep that in mind. Alright, so from here I can go back into my TEKS here, and I'm going to copy A, go back to my PowerPoint, and I'm going to paste. Well, actually, let's go to insert text box here, and see if this is good enough. And I'm going to paste it. So now, and depending if you're picky in particular and you want it to be even and in the middle and all of that, that's going to take you time to do so. Okay, so this is my one TEK. So I'm going to go into my TEKS and I'm going to copy B, copy, I wonder why I wouldn't do that. I think it's underneath. Okay, so I'm going to insert text box here. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of those and put a period. Again, if you're not particular, it'll take you less time. Okay, I'm going to go back and forth. I don't know all the shortcuts and all that, but I'm sure there are shortcuts. But this is how I know how to do it, and that is okay. Alright, so now that I have done that, I have my TEKS. This is Principles of Cosmetology, Design, and Color Theory, and this is Introduction to Cosmetology. So, like in the section before, I just took, this is the back page, so knowledge and skills, okay? I took the number, okay, and the letter. I copied, pasted that onto my PowerPoint, and then I went ahead and printed and cut out my cards that I pasted on. Okay, so up here on the card, let me get this a little bit closer here to see if it'll, okay, so here it is Principles of Cosmetology, Design, and Color Theory, which is the name of the course. The number is, I call the unit, okay, which is the same number as what is on our, right here, our TEKS page, printed out from the TA website. Okay, I did go ahead and highlight business and industry, and I underlined it because in this unit, that's what we're going to be talking and learning about, business and industry, and the number 1. And the number 1 has the letters A through J. So I copied and pasted from there onto one individual card, each letter. So letter A is here, letter B, letter C, and so forth and so on. Each card is one individual letter to the last one. Okay, so each card has the same thing. Okay, so this is unit 1, which is on my TEKS page. Okay, so that's 1. And then if I were to turn my page here, my second unit, okay, third unit, this one has 6 units, which is what I call them. So here is unit 2. We're going to focus about design and color theory, okay? And the letter, or what we're focusing on, is recognizing elements of hair design such as line, form, space, texture, and color. That's 1 TEK, okay? That's the letter. In unit 2, we're still talking about design and color theory, is letter B, investigating and identify the lines that create width and length. Okay, so forth and so on. Okay, this one goes from A all the way to L. So that's unit 2. Then I have unit 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so there's different ways you could do this. Okay, in your school, if you do a 6 weeks, then you can do 1 unit per 6 weeks. So the first 6 weeks, I'm going to focus on business and industry. Okay, the second 6 weeks, design and color theory. Third 6 weeks, TDLR. Fourth 6 weeks, elements of design. And fifth 6 weeks, workstations. Six weeks, career paths. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Okay, another way to do it is if you were to divide how many weeks you have in your school year, you can do 1 TEK per week. There's some that are more or less, so you can combine depending on which TEKS you're working on and which class you're teaching. If there's, for example, there's 37 weeks in our school year. So in let's see, which one is this one? In principles, there's 43 TEKS. So obviously, I would have to combine some of those TEKS together to fit into my 37 weeks. In my introduction to cosmetology, I have the same thing. Okay, units 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In this one, there's only 5 units. So I have 6 weeks in my school district. So I would have 1 whole 6 weeks to teach Skills USA, orientation, testing, any kind of those things, so I can be more flexible with this plan. With this one, I have, I didn't count how many TEKS were in here, but that's 20 some odd, I believe. So I actually have, I'm able to organize to where I can teach 1 TEK a week, focus on that, and then I have extra time to teach other things, presenters and things of the sort. Okay, so that is how I created my little cards. So then what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to organize them in a way that I want to teach. Okay, whether I want to do them per 6 weeks or 1 TEK a week, combining some or so, adding some other lessons. And I'm putting them in whatever order best suits my lessons at my school, at our program. Because maybe I have to teach color, or let's just say I have to teach, what's on here, Skills USA in December. So I need to change these and organize them to fit December instead of at the beginning or the end of the school year. So there's nowhere on here in your TEKS that tells you you have to teach these in a certain order. It's just as long as you teach them. So then I take my 1 individual card as I'm planning my lesson. Let's pretend that this was my lesson, right? Okay, my lesson, my handout, my worksheets, whatever. I would put this TEK with this packet of whatever I'm using to teach this lesson, and so I put this in a binder or a portfolio of something of some sort, so that way when I go to pull out this lesson on Unit 1, Business and Industry, and demonstrating professionalism and such, then this is what I would put out. Okay, so I'll make a video later on how I do that. But this is just a great way to have this and be able to organize your TEKS. Yes, it does a little bit more extra work, but it's a great way to keep yourself organized. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you soon.